God damn it. You ready to eat some fucking tacos, bro? You ready to eat some fucking tacos, bro? Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Hey! What's going on, folks? You know what day it is. It is
Taco Tuesday.
I'm KC.
And I'm E.
And we are
Nacho Average Podcast. Hi, everybody.
All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are still rolling with the social.
We are with social distancing.
Still rolling with it, making do with what we can, and
making do.
Discovered some amazing things, in the process. So
we have.
You guys are watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, which is amazing. What's up, Deanna? How you doing? That's my sister right there. Hey.
Deanna.
She's in from Illinois right now.
She showed us mad love last week on the protest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she did. Thank you so much.
They're not used to us starting this much on time, this close to on time.
I know. We growing, y'all.
And guess what?
What?
We're gonna start this over because I wasn't recording.
Wow. Okay. Let's do it. I'm glad you got it. I'm just glad you got it.
Oh man. All right. So we're gonna start the music over. We're gonna keep this rolling though, because the broadcast is the broadcast, whatever.
Yeah, it happened. But we need the audio. So
audio.
Let's go.
All right.
We need the audio.
I had downloaded some new firmware on this thing, and getting used to it. All right.
We can do it over.
You ready to eat some fucking tacos, bro? You ready to eat some fucking tacos, bro? Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! Hey! What's going on, folks? You know what day it is. It is
Taco Tuesday.
I'm KC.
And I'm E.
And we are
Nacho Average Podcast.
All right. Here we go. Now we're rolling.
Hi, Chrissy.
We are rolling now. All right. Welcome, folks. It is another beautiful Tuesday. June 9th. We are in the middle of the year, y'all.
Yes, June. 6 months.
We are 10 days away from Juneteenth, the day that we're celebrating this year instead of 4th of July.
Yeah.
And if you don't know,
I think more people are becoming people are becoming a little bit more knowledgeable about what Juneteenth is. I don't think it was as popular as it wasn't. I think it's getting. Yeah, a lot of people never knew about it. They don't teach it in school. These people don't know, but it is becoming, more popular, which I think is a beautiful thing for people who,
This is my thing. So I understand, like, they don't teach it to us in school, but we have parents. You know what I'm saying? We have cousins.
My kids know.
Uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. We should know these things. These are things that we should know, that we should learn at home. Like, we can't rely
on schools
I didn't history, because it's not our history, it's his story.
I agree.
So
but I didn't learn about Juneteenth till I was an adult. Like, I taught myself. I figured out what it was.
We grew up going to Juneteenth celebrations every single year.
I didn't. I did not. I did not.
Like,
I didn't discover it till I was a young adult.
Yeah, like Deanna would tell you, we grew up going to Juneteenth celebrations.
No, my kids know what it is, but I didn't know what it was until I hit my mid-20s. Yeah. I had never heard of it.
That's crazy. Well, when you're in your mid-20s, I was a kid when you were in your mid-20s, so
you were. For those of you out there who don't know exactly what Casey and I are talking about, Juneteenth is June 19th, and it's also known as Freedom Day or Jubilee Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's an American holiday on June 19th because on June 19th, 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation, which had been issued on January 1st, 1863, was read to enslaved African Americans in Texas by Gordon Granger. Texas was the last Confederate state to have the proclamation announced after the end of the American Civil War. In April of that year, Texas was the most remote of the slave states, and minimal fighting meant there were few Union troops present to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation until after the war ended.
Facts.
Yeah,
So,
that's the actual definition. Now, to break it down, when July 4th happened and so-called everybody was free, the South, a lot of slaves in the South, mainly Texas, but a lot of slaves in the South were not free. They did not get word about this Emancipation
mhm.
Proclamation. They were unaware. They didn't
Because
know.
there was no
And
Instagram, there was no Twitter. They couldn't
right,
be like, hey, hashtag Freedom Day.
yeah, they didn't know. Wells Fargo wasn't
Yeah,
delivering on that day,
yeah.
so they didn't find out till after the Civil War, which, if people don't realize, July 4th happened. I don't have the year right in front of me, but I think it's like 17 something. But Juneteenth happened 1865,
Yeah,
which
so like
was a
100
substantial.
years after
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
America was
yeah.
free, you
So
know.
when you celebrate the 4th of July, or when you get paid for the 4th of July at work or everything, take it as a paid holiday, but it is not your Independence Day. Because
Right.
if you are ancestors to any type of slaves, especially Southern based slaves, they weren't independent. They didn't
Hmm.
become independent until June 19th after
Right.
the Civil War, when that's when the telegrams and everything went out,
Hmm.
and they were all like, oh, we're free. But like
Right.
Casey said, before the end of the show, I will get the exact how many years. But mind you, they weren't free for a long time.
Yeah.
They were still slaves out there, and like I said, it was mostly in the southern regions, because that's where it was. As people was migrating, if you wasn't able to, run away or get away, you were still stuck down there, and so they were not free, and they became free on June 19th. Hence
Well, even
Juneteenth.
well, even the 4th of July was just us getting our independence from what was it, the French,
The
or was it?
French.
Yeah. So that was us getting our independence. So as an independent country, we still had to build, and the only way you could
Right.
build back then, if you're newly free, you had to use free labor. We were the free labor that they used.
We were
So
the labor, though. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so of course we weren't going to be free at that point. We weren't even. It wasn't even a
Exactly.
thought in their mind for us to be free. We were the way that they were built. We were the economy. We were the
Well, we
way.
built everything.
Yeah,
We did everything for
we
them.
were the way that
And
the
you had
economy worked. We built the railroads. We made
the houses.
cotton,
We
like
built
all the
everything.
infrastructure. That
Yeah.
was done by us for
Yeah.
free. So
We
of
built the
course,
White House. Like, I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people realize we built the White House.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like, we did everything. So but please believe. Oh, thank you, Randall. So July 4th, I knew it was 17 something. I said 1771. So it was 1776 that Independence Day came about on July 4th. But like I said, Juneteenth happened in 1863.
Hmm.
So that just tells you how much longer we were slaves.
Yeah.
So, and it isn't that the slave masters didn't know. So we were slaves 87 more years after July 4th. So July 4th came, it happened, and we were freed from the French. But we were slaves, especially in the southern and south part of the United States, for 87 more years. And then we became free. And that was
Quote
very
unquote.
intentional, quote unquote.
Quote unquote free.
Yeah,
We
quote
still
unquote.
weren't considered humans all
No,
the way. So
3%,
yeah,
3%
and
were,
we
yeah,
still pretty.
something like that.
And from the videos we see now, well, not even from the videos that everyone else sees now, we've been seeing them
Yeah,
forever. But from the videos
yeah,
that everyone else sees now, it shows that we still are not considered human
free.
beings. You know
Yeah,
what
we're not
I'm
free.
saying? So,
So yeah, that's our world. And
yeah,
now it's 2020. It's a
exactly.
whole new century. And we're still fighting for the same thing that we was fighting for. Isn't
Yeah,
that crazy? Yeah, it's really
ain't,
sad.
ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. So for our show tonight, you guys, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about just what's going on in the news and what's going on in the press. And we definitely wanted to discuss the protest. Last week, Casey and I was actually at a protest. We was at the Hollywood protest, and we did our show live at the Hollywood protest. So that's why we wasn't on last week in the evening. But we want to talk about the protest. We want to recap. We want to give you guys a little update on the things that have actually happened in a positive way, things that have shifted, things that have changed because of the protest. Just in case you don't realize, these protests are doing something. So we want to, inform you and let you guys know. And while we're doing all that, we actually, have someone joining us tonight.
Yeah, we have hey, you know what? Eva, I didn't tell you this, but I feel like a lot of things
he never tells me anything.
No, I feel like a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight, like he will have a really, really strong opinion on. And I think we'll be doing our people, our listeners, an injustice if we don't bring them onto the conversation. So I actually want to bring them onto the conversation a little bit, in a little bit after, we do our chips and dip or whatever. I mean, are there really any chips and dip? Really?
We really was gonna make this, a little bit more, about the protest and what has happened. I didn't really stack up no chips and dip. I mean, things are happening. The entertainment world never shuts down. It's always some BS happening. But I just feel like it's more pressing things. And we only get an hour. And like Casey said, our guest is a very, very intelligent person. Who Casey and
I didn't say all that.
Well, he is. And Casey and I really think he'll be a great asset to the conversation.
I mean, he read good, but
so we're gonna bring him on.
Let's bring him on right now.
Yeah. So right. Our special guest is Bruce Stevens, and his Instagram is Tree of Life. And just a little sidebar, I met Casey through Bruce.
Yes, he is.
That's how Casey and I met.
Even and I met. If you ever see me rocking these Brilliance clothing, that's his brand. Brilliance is Driven, BSD, LMTD on Instagram. Right, Brilliance LMTD.
Yeah, Brilliance Limited. Mm-hmm.
So we are going to bring on Tree of
Life.
What up, though? What's cracking?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
I can't hear Casey. I haven't been able to hear him the whole time. I hear you, Eva.
He can't hear you, Casey.
I don't know why.
He said, I don't know why. He can't hear you.
Well, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yes.
Can everyone can hear? Else can hear me, right?
Yeah, because Maisha just commented on what you said. He read it, so she can hear you too. But I can repeat everything so Bruce can hear you.
Okay,
got you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, don't do that. How about you just exit out? Because it's going to sound crazy on the recording. I'm going to say it, then you go say it. So how about this, Bruce? How about you exit out and come back like we did earlier? Can we do that?
We're eating ice.
Bruce? Chewing and
Casey.
Oh, B, can you, Casey said, can you exit out and come back like you did earlier so he can try to pick you up so you can get the sound? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
You like the intro, Chrissy? She loved it. She loved the intro.
So yes, I was actually at the protest yesterday in downtown. It was actually more of a memorial for George Floyd. And
how was it?
It was beautiful. It was they had a few other people that they were memorializing as well. They actually had a casket out there. I got there 20 minutes late, so I'm not sure if there was actually someone in the casket because they did have pallbearers carried it off at the end. So and put it in the hearse. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't George Floyd, but it was someone. That's what you're saying. Because I don't think George Floyd's funeral was here though in LA.
No, I mean they might have been carting them all over the place. You never know.
That's true. You're right. That's true.
Look. When I die, I want y'all to take me all over the place.
Everywhere.
I'm going on a world tour. World tour when I die. I want y'all to take. The thing is, I don't have one base. I was born in the Bay. I was raised in Illinois. Moved back to the Bay. Then moved down here. I've been down here like half of my life. So, I mean, but most of my family don't live here. They probably won't pay to come out here. So,
Bruce, can you hear Casey now?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Him?
Yep, I can hear him.
All right,
Okay,
cool,
perfect. Cool.
All right. Deanna Stevens says, welcome, Bruce.
She did. That's such a nice
welcome.
Hello.
Right. But so yeah, we had a Bruce, have you seen it? Bruce lives downtown. So yesterday at our after we did the memorial, we marched all around downtown, went through the tunnels, everything, had just locked down. Bruce, have you seen any of the action downtown? 'Cause I know they've had like a few protests downtown so far.
Yeah, no, it's been definitely a lot of action down here, a lot of sirens and a bunch of noise. So it's been nonstop. I think today has been like the quietest day in a long time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Deanna. Yes, Charlotte as well. So I got to make a pit stop in Charlotte too, because I lived there for a while too. So
you're gonna have an expensive ass funeral.
Hey, hopefully by that point I'll have the funds to fund it.
So, okay. So Bruce, have you made it out to any protests that's going on in downtown?
This time I didn't. You know, I've been I kind of did things a different way this time because I kind of felt like I kind of tired of doing this same old thing. No, and I don't feel like there's nothing wrong. I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with it. I just feel like I didn't want to do that this time because I did it before, and I was just trying to try different options and different things to see if that might be better. So I didn't this time.
Well, I think this whole protest has been different. I think it's woke up a lot of people. I definitely think it shifted a lot of people to want to do more than just protest. So I can see why you didn't want to. You know, you're not the first person I heard who didn't want to do that. I did want to participate in one, but I have heard people who I normally know would participate didn't want to participate. They wanted to do more. They wanted to be a little bit more active, you know. And like I said, because of this video footage that was released, because of the way George Floyd passed away, I think people, you know, got ignited. They you know, and they wanted to do it a little bit more than just protest. And then when I did protest, one thing I said in our podcast last week, and KC can vouch for it, it was a lot of young people out there, and it was a lot of non-African Americans out there. And I think that was a lot. I think that was their first protest. Like they had never protested before. So I think this kind of, you know, made them want to jump into action. And I think people who have protested, they wanted to, you know, make an appearance at a few, but I think they're doing a lot of things behind scenes.
Well, this is what they're saying. They're doing a lot of things behind scenes.
Right.
So what I was saying before we brought Bruce on is that a lot of people, like, you know, we're talking about Juneteenth and how, you know, a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people are finding out. It's interesting seeing how little people knew about things of their own history. And, you know,
a lot of people didn't know about Selma.
Yeah, things that are happening in their own world. And I'm seeing people post things, and people are, you know, automatically going to post, send me, you know, DM me things like, "Oh my God, well, like, how are you just figuring this out? Like, you in your 30s, like, this is new news to you? Like, you've never heard of Emmett Till?"
Well, I thought
I had a picture of
I don't know nobody.
I had a picture.
Who haven't heard of Emmett Till?
I had a picture of the.
I don't know anybody who don't know that.
Damn. I had a picture of
who the hell
all
you
my
know?
people know.
Yeah. I don't know that one. Oh, look, Casey mad. Okay, go, Casey.
Damn. I'm trying to get one sentence out. Look, we can't have
out here marching with 5-year-olds.
We can't have people come on that you know, because y'all cutting up right now. Y'all know how to act. When you get your little friends on,
You was marching with 10-year-olds.
You don't know how to act.
Sorry, Casey.
Anyway,
it's your turn. You're my friend too.
Hand up.
Okay.
What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh,
you was talking about your friends at Emmett Till.
As a little boy, I had a picture that I had got out of my, you know, my NAACP magazine, like in 5th grade. I was way back then, I had a picture I had taken out of that of Emmett Till at the funeral. You know, beaten body, bloated body from being in I had that on my wall. You know, so hearing people my age not know about, like, they might have heard of him, but they didn't know the story. You know, like, they didn't know what happened. They did not know that he was found in, or the girl had admitted to, you know, lying about it.
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous. And now, like, people are, of course, sending me things because they see, you know, us, you know, moving. You know, they see us doing stuff, and so they're Crystal says a lot of people did know the things that did
not know.
Oh, did not. I'm sorry. See, I can't read good. A lot of people did not know the things were going on in their own community. Yeah, definitely.
No, it's true.
It's baffling to me because I'm like, where have you been? Like, what have you been? Who have you been around? You know? And like, even like, I had a conversation with a young lady who is Black, but she's mixed, and she's just learning about Black Wall Street, just learning about Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that's one thing that a wide range of Black people don't know about, because
did not know. I agree.
They under the rug completely, to the point where they're just talking about, you know, reopening the investigation just so they can find the bodies and, you know, have record of the people that have been killed, because like a lot of the murders have been estimates. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, like, they don't know. Yeah, they don't know.
They want to reopen it, but a lot of people in the town don't want to reopen it because they're like, let's just keep that in the past. You know, we don't want to tarnish the name of Tulsa, but your name is tarnished already.
It's like, been tarnished since 1921.
You can buff over as much as you want, but that blood will smear. You know?
But you know, they completely erased that out the history book. So when you say people don't know it, I mean, we all sat up here and got a laugh out of it. But unfortunately, a lot of people truly didn't know it happened. You know, the first time I heard people actually talking about the Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921 is when that TV show came out. I can't think of the name of it right now. It was a TV show.
Recently?
Yeah, it opened with it.
That's talking about the Watchmen.
Yeah. So that's when I saw it on my timeline a lot, and I was just a little stunned that a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, I didn't know this. I didn't know this." And I'm like, you got to educate yourself. You know, on your
show to educate people about stuff that really happened in our community.
Yeah, because a lot of people didn't know it was real. Yeah. Like, because they saw it on that show, they thought it was like a setup. And I was like, oh, no, that was the Tulsa. I said, that was the Black Wall Street. Like, that's how I would explain it to people. And they're like, what you talking about? And I'm like, you don't know about what happened in Tulsa? Like, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, because Black Wall Street.
It was multiple. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't know. We did have our, you know, our own communities, and we did have our own economy system, and we did have our own, you know, real estate and everything, and we was, you know, recycling Black dollars. But it's just unfortunate you have so many kids, or not kids, I shouldn't say, but young people who are uneducated about that, because they only know what they were taught in school. Like, you were fortunate enough to have a mother, you know, who educated you. My kids have a mother who educates them. You know, Bruce would be a father who educates his child. But it's a lot of parents out here. It's just like, oh, that's negative, that's sad. And it's like, but how you gonna know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Right.
Like, how can you feel that? How can you feel as an African American that you're a god and you're a king? You know, we welcome you. You know, women always, hey queen. But how can you really feel like that if you don't realize that's what you stem from?
Right.
Like, that's who you truly are. It's an education mishap. A lot. Rosewood, my friend just said. A lot of people don't know about that. You know, people don't understand where we.
Boy, and we actually that we took a bus from Illinois to Canada, right? To Ontario, Canada. And one of the movies we watched on there, which is probably inappropriate for kids my age, I was like,
well, Rosewood's hard to watch. As an adult, it's hard to watch. I
was like in 6th grade, but we watched that. You know, that's where I grew up on. And the crazy thing is, like, a lot of Black people, like, when was the first time, both of you guys, when was the first time you, like, what's the farthest back, the earliest time you can remember having a Black teacher?
Give me my kindergarten teacher, Miss Baker.
Okay. What about you, Bruce?
I needed a minute.
Miss Washington was in, I think, the 6th grade.
Oh wow, that was a long time.
My first Black teacher, like I had like experience with Black teachers in 4th grade, but it wasn't my teacher. My first Black teacher was in 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, my first black one was kindergarten. Her name was Miss Baker at Hyde Park Elementary. But now that you said that, I didn't have another one the rest of my duration at Hyde Park.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my next black teacher until I hit middle school.
Yeah. Bruce?
Yeah. I only had one, period.
Oh, wow. No, in high school I had a few.
You only had one teacher, period.
Like from K through 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. That's crazy. Yeah, in junior high, I probably had one that really influenced me. Yeah, and you from Detroit. That's crazy.
Yeah, wow. The teachers ain't. A lot of the teachers wasn't black though.
Yeah,
and that's why we can't expect teachers to teach our children our culture. You know, like Bruce just said, he from Detroit. Mm-hmm. And and he from, I'm not saying the inner city, but where he lived, a lot of black people live. Like, but he only had one black teacher all through grade school, K through 12. Mm-hmm. So how can we expect somebody who don't look like us to teach children who we birth and we give life to teach about us? If we got that's our job. We have to do that.
And why would they teach us the bad things about the history that's off? Why would they teach us the things that basically put them on the positions that they in right now? They ain't gonna teach us that type of stuff, and that's gonna make you uncomfortable. It makes everybody uncomfortable. I got kicked out of my classroom.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying I got kicked out of my classroom just for when I was younger because I told the class that Santa Claus wasn't real. Mm-hmm. Because he never came to my house. I got straight A's. I was making the best grades.
Bring it back. You said what?
I said Santa Claus ain't real.
All right, y'all. That was Bruce. About your life. We're gonna have to get him off. He understands all types of fake truth. All types of fake news.
There's no such thing, Casey.
We don't cater to that blasphemy over here. Right? I'm good at Santa been to us.
Was you my teacher? You might have been a teacher that kicked me out of class. That might have been you.
My niece who is younger than all of us said I had black teachers to the 8th grade, but in high school I only had one black teacher, and she was my Spanish teacher. Now how backwards is that?
Wow, that's crazy.
Man, but the thing is, like Bruce was just saying, they don't teach us that, and they erase Tulsa, Oklahoma, and things like that out of our history books because then it would show exactly who their ancestors are, and exactly how their ancestors just came over and took and stole and just grabbed things that didn't belong to them.
My god sister, by way of my god mom, said they wouldn't have let them teach us that anyway. But that's
exactly.
the thing.
She's right.
That's the thing. Like, it is the American history is a very dirty history, and there's no way to get around it. Like we learn about how Native Americans were savages, but we don't really talk about the savages that took them out.
Thank you.
The colonizers. We don't talk about that. So it's not that it's too uncomfortable. It's that